Welcome to a new anime review series. This is basically the review of Kaito Kid anime review part 1 of 3. Why do I say 3? Actually, I'd probably make it. I could make it 4 if I wanted to, but right now it's just 3. This one I'm just covering the 12 specials. Yes, 12 specials. Yes, these 12 specials were released from the period of 2010 to 2011. Yep. Now, those of you who don't know what the heck Magic Kaito is, it was the first series done by the creator of the series Case Closed back in the late 80s. Yes, the series first started back in 1987. Yep. There have been 5 books released since then. The first 2 were released in 1988. Like, the first book was released in April, the second one was released in October, and then after that, it took like 6 years to release the next book because apparently the guy decided to take a break and do another manga, which I haven't read, called Yato. This is before he did Case Closed, and he resumed doing this like not long after he started the Case Closed manga in Japan, known as Tetsukunen. Yeah, the next book was released until like a year after Case Closed started. And after that, after 1994, which is basically 6 years after Volume 2 came out, Volume 4 was released for 13 years. Yes. 13 years taking the next volume. Excuse me. And the last known volume came out roughly 2 years ago, 10 years after the release of the last volume. Yep. And they start airing these specials in the year of 2010. They basically started from 2010 and they stopped in 2012. Yeah, 12 specials over the course of 2 years. Yeah, they tend to air these like, they vary whenever they air. And here's the thing. At the time, only about 28 chapters were released by the time the first special came out. And these are the chapters they covered in just 12 specials. They covered the first 2 chapters, chapter 4, 6, 7, 8, 15 and 17, 19, 21, 22, and 25, 28. Yeah, not many in just 12 episodes. As for why they stopped at the 12 episodes, and by the way, the following anime, which was the full anime, was launched 2 years later. As for why in the world they waited 2 years to release another thing, why did they just do specials? Probably because Magic wasn't exactly very well known. And probably not as popular as Case Closed, but here's the thing about it. In case you're wondering why it took so long between, like, volume for chapters released, because the thing comes out whenever the writer feels like coming out with it. Like, sometimes they wait 10 years to release another volume because it's a focus on Case Closed series. He's basically, like, pretty much like 1,038 chapters in. And this is, like, roughly, like 1,002 chapters longer. Now, this is the order they adapted the chapter in just 12 specials. First special covers the first chapter, obviously. The second one covers chapter 4, third, chapter 2, 4, chapter 6 and 10, 5 covers chapter 19, 6 covers chapter 7, 7 covers chapters 15 and 16, 8 covers chapter 22, 9 covers chapter 19, 10 covers 25 and 26, 11 covers 21, and 12 covers 27, 28. In the first special, basically we get introduction to the Kaito Kid himself. Basically, this is kind of his first chronological appearance. Also, I got pointed this out before I continue. Every special has a cameo by Konan Nagawa. He appears in every single one in a brief cameo, basically just to acknowledge that, yep, Kaito Kid takes place in the same universe as, well, Case Closed. A lot of this here takes place probably during some special story that Case Closed is going on with. Yeah. But this one, not only introduction of the Kaito Kid and the guy who basically is Kaito Kid, the second one, his name is Kaito Karaba. We also see his love interest, Okino Namurata, her bumbling father, Inspector Genzo Nakamura. Yep. Let's see. We also see the debut of Jill Kurosaki, who's the butler. Mm-hmm. Yes, Kaito's mother, Chunichi Karaba. Yeah, and that's just in the first episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just in the very first episode. Yep. Basically, the Kaito Kid at this point, and here's the thing about it. Kind of like the way they did with Sailor Moon Crystal and Hunter x Hunter, they moved it to modern day because when it originally came out, it took place pretty much in the 80s. This will basically have cell phones, laptops. I even saw a Bluetooth. Yeah, a sort of like a hearing aid style Bluetooth. I saw that in here, and everything is very modernized. Mm-hmm. Also, a couple of the episodes, you have a cameo by the Junior Detective League for like a brief, like little scene. You don't see your face like you do Conan's. But everyone else, yeah, you do see them. Mm-hmm. Yep. And basically, this one is basically Kaito is basically at his house. He just basically, of course, he also during at school he decided to take a peek at his childhood sweetheart's panties. Yep, because he's kind of a pervert. Yeah, for some reason the writer made him a pervert. He's kind of like that, but that's the only girl he'll do it to. He won't do it to any other girl, which I'm kind of like a guy who's up with another girl who would like to look at the panties in just the first episode. Does it sound very familiar? Yes, it sounds very much like how Yu Hakusho began, which having the main character look under his love interest's skirt to look at her panties. Yep, very similar. Oh yeah, and there's comedy ensues. Basically in a lot of the episodes, basically he does something wrong. He usually gets chased by his childhood sweetheart, or he'll basically get chased by other girls. Yeah, and this one, when he gets home, he basically just talks to himself by his awesome father, who was a magician who was killed 8 years prior to the events in the series, and he just touches the portrait of him, and he just falls right through, and he comes across what looks like his own bat cave. Yep, full of all the the car that the Kaito Kid drives, and his awesome suit. This white coat, white cape, white top hat with the little monocle. Which I'm like, that's your mask, a freaking monocle? I haven't called this out when he showed up on Case Close. This is pretty much how he first becomes the Magic Kaito. He becomes him. The Kaito Kid. Now, there was no Kaito Kid running around, a fake one, just to bring the other one out of retirement. Just basically find out, he had to say that, yep, he's back. And this was actually Jill, who he first was Jill Chun. I'm a little surprised he refers to him as that, despite the fact this guy is supposed to be the family butler. Probably because of how close he is to him. That's probably the reason why he calls him that. Mm-hmm. Yep, basically got him out of retirement, and they also see the chronological debut of his glider. And you also see, and this I think is particularly very weird. Okay, one of his most famous gadgets that he's known for using in the Case Closed series is his card gun, and apparently he uses it when he's basically at a normal self. Which I'm kind of like, why the heck would he use his card gun both as himself and as the Kaito Kid? Probably because it's his own invention, and probably assumed that the Kaito Kid probably borrows it from him, or probably he has his own card gun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this thing basically is this weird gadget that fires playing cards. Yep. Excuse me. And pretty much he becomes the Kaito Kid just to, steal stuff and find out who killed his father. Okay, fine. His mother doesn't really appear that much in the series. He's not in these specials anyways. She only appears via almost like a version of Skype. She only appears like twice the whole time. She appears a little bit more in the manga than she does here. Mm-hmm. Yep, and basically every episode he's always stealing something new. In the first episode, he steals a jewel called Moon's Pearl. In the second one, the Angel's Crown, which is a literal crown. In the third episode, it's simply a jewel known as the Buttercup Soul of Paris, which this actually comes to play later. Let's see. There's also the Red Tear. It happens one of these. The Blue Birthday. Let's see. Yeah, there's a bunch of these. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a bunch of these jewels. Of course, steals of course the series. And in the first episode, he basically steals it, and he sees it, and he doesn't like keep the jewels. Apparently, it's also revealed that he also returns the jewels. He either throws them away. He doesn't really keep them. He just basically throws them away, or he just gives back the original owner. Yep, that's basically what he does. He just does it for fun. Yep. Yep. Now, in the fourth episode, we get juiced to Akino Komurosaki, basically, who is a witch. Yes, they have a witch in a series that is semi-based in reality. Yeah, I'm sure like a lot of the gadgets can easily be perfectly made, but sorcery? Wow. And by the way, this woman did make an appearance on Case Closed in a cameo, in a brief scene cameo. Also, this woman, here's the thing. She's one of the very few characters of the course series who knows that Kaito is the Kaito Kid, and she's in love with him. Yep. And she'll find many ways to be, basically, to make her her slave. Yeah, and there's a funny moment later on when in one of the episodes of which known as the Phantom Thief, the Witch, and the Detective, which is probably like the only time they actually share like an episode together. Yeah, they introduce this one detective who actually appeared for a couple episodes of Case Closed. This very arrogant guy he is, Hakurba, who's the son of, believe it or not, a police commissioner. I'm like, son of a police commissioner, and he's a high school detective. I'm like, this sounds very familiar. Yeah, it sounds like Harley from Case Closed. Very similar case. And here's the thing. These two have met once in his second appearance here, made in Case Closed. Conan's met him twice. And the thing about this kid is he's very arrogant. Yes. He always dresses up like he thinks he's Sherlock Holmes. And basically he did a lot of detective work in frickin' London. Now, when he made his debut in Case Closed, he had a hawk. This one, he doesn't have a hawk. I mean, first several times he shows up, he basically dresses up like Sherlock Holmes does. Like, a classic detective. Yep. Yeah. Let's see. There's one infamous episode, Princess Anne. They actually reference her in another episode where she basically really wants to meet the Kaito Kid. Eventually she does. So it's like gonna steal this jewel from her, and he doesn't keep it per se, but he does easily recover it. And he's able to basically easily, and how he steals is the most romantic way possible. Steal from her when she's in her bedroom. Yep. Just break into her bedroom and steal from where she's lying down in her bed. No, these two do not have sex. They just simply stand there. He gives peck in the cheek. She borrows it for a little while. Then he does eventually return it. There's one episode he doesn't really steal the jewel at all. He basically claims he's going to steal it, but he really isn't. Yep, the one with the... Let's see if we can find it. The one with the red tear. Yeah, it's episode 8. And basically he's protecting not only the jewel itself, but the owner from an organization they actually reveal in another episode, which is Blue Birthday. Yeah, the Blue Birthday one. Yeah, when they choose the organization, this evil organization, and there's a guy called Snake, and apparently these guys are implied to be the ones who are responsible for the death of the original Kaito Kid. And of course they use an assassin later on named Spider, and it's implied he's the one who actually did the deed. They aren't going further than this because the special they never finished having the manga, and the manga itself was never finished. Yep. Excuse me. And he protects her very well. Who's happens to be the granddaughter of a famous magician, who I think is an old friend of the original Kaito Kid. And well, Kaito himself knew about her awesome grandfather, and it's like, yeah, I'm not here to steal your jewel. I'm here to protect you and the jewel from him. Because he wants it so badly. And what's inside this jewel? And look, it's a ruby. And like, why is the blue rubies usually red? Yeah, what he does is quite interesting. Apparently now this, I've heard, is semi-realistic. Especially nowadays. I heard about recently this is a real technology. Apparently jewelry is also used as sort of like USB drives. Yeah, what's inside this thing? Pictures. How he activates it is using a lighter and just lights him sitting in this revolving restaurant, which also he uses to knock out Snake out of a freaking window, taking out the guy who was posing as him. Yep. And there's one episode, this was actually the second episode, where basically the inspector is convinced that Kaito is the Kaito Kid, even though he actually really is. So Aiko basically comes with the most ingenious way to prove an alibi he's not the Kaito Kid. Ask him out on a date. Yep, and they go to Tropical Land. And he gets back to the theater just in time before the movie ends. So at one point he has to hang on to a freaking roller coaster after he stole the jewel, which I thought was so hilarious. Eventually, and here's the thing, he apparently makes sure he doesn't get away. He handcuffs him. Yeah, one of 2 times over the course of these episodes he gets handcuffed. The other time was by Habaru in another episode. Was the one where he interacts with the witch. Yep. The one with, there's one here like GoldenEye. This one is basically stealing like this jewelry, claims to be part of the collection from the late Marie Antoinette, the wife of the last officially ruled ruler, the last king of France before he was executed. Yeah, it turns out these are not the actual jewels. These are based on them. And apparently that this woman named Ruby, who they claim is an insurance agent, she's actually really a thief known as Chat Noir. A French thief just to steal these jewels. Okay. And by the end, well, Jill basically drops off the real jewel to her. And of course, Kaito says, yeah, you're about to get the real jewel in 5 seconds. He's like, how do you get to me in 5 seconds? And Jill just happens to be. And somehow he gets back to Japan pretty easily, despite the fact he's basically 10,000 feet in the air. Yeah, it's never explained. Just somehow he gets on the plane, and he gets back to Japan, no problem at all. Also, he's a very reckless driver. Yeah. Because one point he had, while trying to get back, basically... Yep, so... The final episode basically introduces this character was Nightmare, who was sort of a criminal planner. Yeah, it turns out this guy's really not a criminal. Well, not like as mysteriously claimed. There was a guy named Jack Connery. I'm like, Connery. Did they name this character the Sean Connery? And maybe sort of a thief version of James Bond, in a way, except he's a father. Well, a single father anyways. And I at least got to praise the fact that, well, Kaito basically managed to show up fast before his son saw him with the mask on, because he would have been scared. And you got to at least praise him for basically taking the mask off, because he put the mask on. Yeah. And at least he's the one that did this time. Now, it's explained in the episode, apparently the people who he teams up with, because he basically left former alliances with infamous criminals, they usually end up getting arrested alive, or they end up shot dead in front of a police station. Also, apparently they changed who the inspector's boss is for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah. I mean, seeing this guy is just pure fun. And, well, he's a bumbling idiot. I'm like, okay, bumbling idiot who suspects, like, one kid of being something else. Yeah. Pretty much basically the writer of the series. I'm trying to think, what was his name? Gushu Atma, basically. He used a lot of stuff from the series. Heck, the relationship of Kaito and Aho is basically a prototype for Ren and Shichi. Yep. Pretty much based upon it. And no, I don't think that the witch is basically used as the basis for Aihabara. Why? Because she's a witch, not a scientist. I mean, yes, the only thing she has in common with Habara is the fact that she's implied she may have feelings for the main character. It's implied for her. This one, it's definite. But yeah, these episodes are really fun to watch. I kind of wish they would have basically at the time when these came out. Of course, I didn't watch when they came out. But they would have, kind of finished them. They're made by TMS Entertainment, which is the same company that makes the Detective Conan series. Yeah. Though, I should point out that when we're doing part 2, is going to be a review of the 1412 anime. That's actually not made by them. No, it's made by A1 Pictures, the same company who makes Fairy Tale, Seven Deadly Sins, and in the first season of Ace Attorney. Yeah, that'll be part 2, but my next video I'm going to do probably tomorrow. I probably don't have time to do videos. This is the only video I have time to do anyways. Yeah, so tomorrow I'll do a review of the first 3 case codes. I'm hoping to get those done. The newest episode of Case Codes, because I know it's airing tomorrow. Basically, the review of My Hero Academia tomorrow, and a Comic Con, roughly 4 videos. Yep. Yeah, but these episodes are just pure fun, and I like the fact that in the 14-12 anime they actually managed to adapt a lot more. Yeah, part 2 just I'll cover the 14-12 anime, and the fourth episode, the third part are basically just gonna cover like the OVAs. Yeah, there's only about 2 of them, and that's it. Yep. And not much else to say about these, but yeah, really good specials, and can't wait to watch the 14-12 anime. But first, the Case Ghost films are gonna be next to watch. Okay, but see you next few. Bye.